Hey, what's up, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thanks so much for taking a little bit of time today to hang out with me. I really appreciate it. We got Zelda chilling right over there, if you can see her. She's my little buddy, I call her, because she just, you know, stays at my side whenever she can. But we are doing is this part 4? Or is this part 5 of Black Commander Staples? My whole idea behind these videos is for people who are new into Commander and want to know what are good cards that I can run in all or a bunch of different Commander decks that kind of work. And that was kind of my thought process, talking about 10 cards per video, because I always get like, why didn't you talk about this card? I only talk about 10 per video. That's the reason, just to limit and make sure that they're not super long. And like I said, I've done the other parts. You can check them out in the down bar below. And I also feel like I might have the next part planned out, or maybe I have pieces of it, I'm not sure, but let's jump into it. Let's first start talking about Torment of Hailfire. This card is awesome. I have this in Mugus, and it's just a really cool card that like, it's just kind of like always good. Like you dump 5 mana into it, you dump 10 mana into it. It's a really great towards the end of the game card when you just have like a ton of mana and you're like, what can I do with it? And then you top deck Torment of Hailfire, and that's what you do. What I really like about this card is I love cards that do multiple different things. Torment does that. So it repeats it X times. So again, you can dump any amount of mana into this. So each opponent loses 3 life unless they sack a non-land permanent or discard a card. So this is a really great little like board wipe or life drain or discarding cards or whatever. You're going to be doing something that's going to impact your opponents in a really negative way. And it says each opponent, so it doesn't impact you, so you remain unscathed while a bunch of people, your opponents, are impacted, which is incredible. I really like Torment of Hailfire. There's a reason that this card is pretty expensive last time I checked. I feel like this card was a little bit on the pricey side, but yeah. Anyways, it's a great one. Okay, the next card is Harvester of Souls. This is for my people who really need ways to draw cards. We are going to be talking about a couple of different card draw ones in this video, and what's really cool about Harvester of Souls is that it not only draws you cards, but you've got a 5/5 with death touch, so you're left with a really nice attacker or a really nice blocker. Whenever a non-token creature dies, you may draw a card. A couple things I like about this. First off, it's not things that you control. So it's anytime another non-token creature dies, you can draw a card. The second thing I really like about this is that it says may. So let's just say you don't want to draw cards for whatever reason. I don't know, you got like 3 cards left in your library or whatever the situation is, or you don't want to discard, whatever. You don't have to draw those cards if you don't want to. So I really like this card. It's only about $1 and it's a really solid body. Okay. Next up, we have Dictate of Erebos. This one's a little bit on the pricey side, but I really like this. I also have this card in Mugus. So this is 5 mana for an enchantment, and it's got Flash. We love Flash. If you don't have to play it on your turn, why play it on someone's turn? You get what I'm saying? Play it on someone else's turn. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacks a creature. Even if you're not playing like a sacrifice themed deck, like I run this in Mugus and it's sacrifice themed, even if you're not doing something like that, Dictate is still a really awesome card to have on hand because your creatures are going to die. That's just a thing. And what I really like about this is that kind of pushes your opponents to kind of figure things out maybe in a different way. Well, it's like, well, if I attack you, then your creature's going to die, then I'm going to have to sacrifice my thing. Really awesome card. This is a really cool card too that works really well at different points of the game, where like if you drop this on like turn 5, you're in a really solid spot, but also if you drop it like later on in the game, I think it works really well too, because creatures are just going to be dying all over the place. So there you go. I said we were going to be talking about card draw, and here we are with Sign in Blood. I really like Sign in Blood. There's a ton of different cards like this, and I've talked about a bunch of them before, but this is the time that we're talking about Sign in Blood. It's a really simple card. It's 2 mana, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Please note it does say target player, so let's just say your opponent's at 2 life, you can Sign in Blood them, and that will kill them, which is great. But most of the time you're going to be casting this on yourself. Is a really solid thing to do at any point of the game. I love cards that work at different points of the game, and Sign in Blood is definitely one that gets you there. It's also very inexpensive to buy. You can also get the foil for like $1, and it's really, the art that I'm showing is really pretty in foil, because like the blood is all shiny and it looks awesome. It's a great card, very budget friendly. Yeah. Okay. We love to draw cards. Another thing we also really like to do is tutor for things. So we're talking about Beseech the Queen. So it's got the 2. So let's just say you're playing this and you don't have another black, or it's triple black. Search your library for a card with CMC less than or equal to the number of lands you control. You do have to reveal it, which may be kind of a detrimental thing. But here's my thing. A lot of times I feel like tutors are on the pricey side, and I don't feel like Beseech the Queen is terribly expensive for what it is. Yeah, it's about like a $2 card, so it's realistically not that bad, and I feel like a lot of times tutors are on the pricey side, or they're pretty high in like CMC. This one's 3, which isn't super bad, I guess, depending on if you're doing it for the 2 colorless or the like 2 of any color, or the triple black. But anyways, so you get to tutor. You do have to reveal it. Now it's equal to or less than the number of lands. So you're probably doing this when you have like at least 3 and you're able to tutor and you're able to get what you want. You do have to reveal it, which is kind of detrimental, but it's a really good like budget friendly option if you're someone who's like, I can't afford a demonic tutor or a vampiric tutor. This is a pretty solid alternative. So yeah. We're talking about another tutor, but this one is a little bit on the pricey side, and that is Grim Tutor. All the tutors are kind of around the same thing. It's just a matter of like, do you reveal it? What's the consequence? Do you lose life? Do you have to reveal it? What's kind of the deal here? This is Grim Tutor, so it's 3 mana. Tutor for a card, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library, you lose 3 life. I feel like losing life is such a small cost to pay for getting anything into your hand. Honestly, does it really matter? I don't think it does very much. It's a good card. It's a good tutor. If you can pick it up, it's a good one to do. Okay. One of my personal favorite ways to draw cards, and it is so budget friendly, which we love, is Greed. As soon as this card got reprinted in, I think it was Modern Horizons, I scooped, like, no joke, like 5 of them up. This card's awesome. It's 4 mana for an enchantment, but then you've got 1 black to pay 2 life to draw a card. Now, this card is so cool because you don't have to tap it. So as many times as you want to, or as many times as you're able to, you can just pay 2 life to draw all the cards that you need, which is really nice. And it's only the 1 black, which we really like. So it's very similar to, I don't know why, Argyl's Bloodfast, which I did talk about in a past video, where Argyl's Bloodfast is 2 mana to play, but it's 2 mana per card. This is only 1 black. So they're very similar. I personally run both. I don't think it's a matter of one or the other. I just like to run both. But yeah, and one thing I will say too that I think is really important to note is I like cards, for example, like Sign in Blood, that are that instant sorcery speed, whatever, draw cards. But I also like cards that stick around like this on the battlefield, and then if I've got nothing else to do with my mana, or I have no cards in my hand, I can just draw a bunch of cards with this. So a lot of times too, I think some people are like, oh, do I only run these? Do I only run these? I personally like a mix of both. It's the same thing for like mana acceleration. I usually like to do rocks and things, like cards like Soul Ring, things like that, but I also like to do cards like Rampant Growth. It's just a mixture. I love this card. This card is so fun, and the really awesome thing about it is like you don't even have to be like super Planeswalker heavy or whatever. You can just thought slot this in, and that is Sorin Markov. I am not a big Planeswalker person. I really am not. I think I was just super friendsed out, and these days I just really don't play with a ton of Planeswalkers. And Sorin Markov is one of the few Planeswalkers that I still do play with. I have it in Tasigur, and I love it. This card is hilarious because you just can set someone's life total to 10. Like, it's hilarious. It's so funny. Someone can be at like 100 life, and guess what? It doesn't matter because Sorin Markov is on the battlefield and it says your life total is 10. It's hilarious. This card's never not funny. Like, it's always a good time. Well, it's not a good time for your opponent, but it's always a good time for you as the caster. Also, there's a possibility of controlling target players next turn. I personally have never done it before, but it does sound like a really good time. Again, for you, not for other people. Okay, the next card is a card that I've never personally played with, but I know a lot of people like it, and that is Toxic Deluge. So it is 3 mana, but as an additional cost, you must pay X life. So you are going to be hit a little bit. All creatures get -X until end of turn. What I really like about this card is I love it when you draw cards like this, and it's kind of good whenever. Like, you draw this card, it's in your opening hand, whatever. You're not mad about it. You draw it on turn 10, you're happy. You draw it on 15, you draw it on 20. Like, you're happy whenever you draw this card. What I like too is that you can control how much that you want to pay into this. Let's just say you have a bunch of 3/3s and up, and you don't want those to go, but you want all the little things to go. You can do this. This board wipe kind of works in like all different sort of situations, which I personally really like, and I think that versatility makes this a really, really cool card. You do have to pay some life, but honestly, to wipe the board and possibly save yourself from death is just worth it. So. Okay, and the last card we're going to be talking about in this video is, it's actually really funny that we're talking about this video because I think I actually need this card and I need to put it on my list. I just think it's a little bit more on the pricey side, which is why I haven't checked the price of it recently, but I will do that after this video because I am curious because I don't think I own one. I owned one a long time ago and I don't remember what happened to it, but Grave Pact. Grave Pact is so incredibly cool. It's 4 mana enchantment. When a creature you control is put into the graveyard, each other player sacks a creature. This is very similar to Dictate of Erebos. Again, is it a matter of one or the other? Why not run both? There you go. That's like always my thing. This card is so cool because here's the reality. Your stuff's gonna die. It happens. It's Commander. Here we are. You're gonna blow up the board. Someone's gonna blow up the board. Someone's gonna spot remove your thing. Whatever. Your thing dies, and guess what? Each of the players sacks a creature. You're also playing black, which is really nice, so that you've got so many different things that you could run that work to your benefit. With black creatures dying, you got a chance to recur them. Whatever. This card is cool for that. So. Guys, that is everything for talking about 10 additional black staples. I'd really like to know what some of your black staples, and they might be featured in a future part. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you're not already, and I'll catch you on my next one.